to tell the people who you are?
Hey, it's just little old me, ElTeddy27, small fish, big pond, nothing to see here. You know, I applied for this little thing called life, found out I was overqualified for it, so I just gave up.
Okay.
And we're here with a whole interview today. I mean, Maliek Yuseef, and I came here all anticipatory of a whole lot's going on, and he don't have nothing going on. The outfit is not given in the crotch area, and I'm so disappointed. So that means that my questions are gonna be so much harder than they would have. Now, if he gets hard, then my questions will soften up. But if he doesn't get hard, then my questions will stay hard. But yeah, listen, we're gonna have a good time. Listen, we're gonna do what we do. Y'all know how we do. You never know what to expect with me. Anything will fly out of my mouth or in it from what I hear. Anyway, but
so what do you think we're gonna accomplish today with this the conversation?
No, what I hope is that he doesn't give us the practice, rehearse, cookie cutter answers. He's probably back there rehearsing answers to questions that he thinks that I have. I will push and poke and prod like a good top should do, even though that's not what I kind of do. I do that from time to time, so if you need me to do that, I'll answer the call.
When do you do that?
Just hit me up in my DMs. We can negotiate and discuss that.
Negotiate. Okay.
You know.
Well, speaking of negotiating, do you think that we're gonna have to negotiate anything with Maliek to get any answers about Gardini or?
We'll see. Dear God, do Jesus and do him well, cause
Are you gonna get into that?
I probably, now that you mentioned that, I guess I will.
I mean, not that I mentioned it.
Right. Now that you're giving me questions, I mean, since you're doing the giving tonight, I guess I'll do the taking tonight.
Oh my God. And look who's back. Okay.
What up? What's good, people? What's up? It's me, ElTeddy27, and this is the conversation. So, survivor, activist, producer, philanthropist, reality star, OnlyFans model, broke hoe. Who is Maliek Yuseef? We will find out today as we sit down and have a whole ass conversation with this young man who a lot of people got a lot to say about. What is up?
What's going on?
How are you, sir?
I'm really good.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure I'm good.
How's it hanging?
It is hanging on in there.
Okay. Stuff that he tucked, y'all. Anyway, but so this is how we're gonna do this, okay? We're gonna do the Tina and Ike Turner Proud Mary approach, okay? Tina Turner told us we're gonna start this off easy.
Okay.
And then at the end, it's gonna get rough. So we're gonna take the beginning and we're gonna take it nice and easy.
That's what she said.
And then we'll do the end hard and rough. That's how we do.
Look,
Proud Mary.
I'm prepared for what
I bet you are, so I've been told. All right, so let's get the easy stuff. I mean, are your sugar levels okay? Everything all right? I watched the reunion. T-cell count okay today? You all right? I just need to make sure.
Yes.
All right?
You know,
I'm balanced today.
T-cell count is excellent.
I don't need you jumping over here on me because I'm not going to fight, baby. I'm going to fall on the ground and be instantly paralyzed and take you to civil court.
No, but
we'll be garnishing your wages. I'm just saying that. Anyway, so I'm just letting you know before you jump. Anyway, but seriously, so let's start off with the easy stuff. So, tell me about young Maliek. What was young little Maliek like when he was growing up in the BIRMINGHAM in Birmingham? What was he like?
He was honestly, I was bad. I was like a bad.
Say that out loud for the people in the back to hear you.
No, I was a bad boy. Like I was not like really young. I did some stuff that I look back now and I'm like, why did I do that? my mom was a teen mom, so I grew up with like my great grandmother, Medea, and my grandma.
Well, you grew up with Tyler Perry.
No, we called in my family, my great grandmother, that was her name. On both sides of the family.
Tyler Perry.
On both sides of the my dad's
They
side, I had a
Medea.
Medea.
They just called them Medea.
I had a Medea on my dad's side, and I had a Medea on my mom's side.
Wasn't that their name, or that's just what they called them?
That's what like I grew up calling
In the Birmingham.
my great grandmothers. But I like my grandma raised me though. My grandma like was instrumental in raising me. My great grandmother. And I remember like one time I sprayed the hose pipe. It's not funny, God rest her soul. I sprayed the hose pipe on this woman, and I'm just like thinking about it now. I'm like, why did I do that?
You're still alive to tell the story.
Yes, and it even like
wow.
one time in first grade, I had the push pins that you put on the bulletin board.
Mm-hmm.
I grabbed one off of the bulletin board, and it was like this kind of heavy set kid in my first grade class.
Fat.
And we were going to lunch one day, and I had the push pin put the push pin in my pocket, and I like just stuck him with it.
Did you think he was going to deflate or something? What did you think was going to happen? What's going on?
I did stuff like that when I was younger. I was really bad, and I just don't know why. Maybe it was because
Thought you was popping a balloon or something like.
Yeah, that was bad. I apologize to the guy.
Don't apologize
Years
to me.
later,
Yeah.
we ended up going to high school together, and I ended up seeing him like he became a teacher.
So talk to me about your family, your mom, your siblings, parents.
We're definitely like my mom. We're definitely a close-knit family. So, my mom was a teen mom, and she later on married my stepdad. And it's like I really don't remember a life without my stepfather being present. But I have twin sisters and also a younger sister. She's 15, and we just a very close knit family.
And with you all being close, I do know that you tragically lost your mom. How did that affect you, and how did that change perhaps the trajectory of what you were doing and where you were going?
It's so crazy because the week that we lost, we experienced that tragedy. My mom was very supportive in everything I did. She was honestly my biggest inspiration. I watched my mom go from being a teen mom to go, sharing her story and really reaching the masses. And I watched her go through every trial and just conquer it. And I feel like that's where I get a lot of my motivation from. But when we lost my mom, we were gearing up. We had signed on to be a part of this campaign called We Are Family with Greater Than AIDS. And I had just sent them emails and pictures of our home.
Okay.
And in the same breath, I had to call the same people and tell them not only do I not have a home no more, I don't even have my mom. And it's crazy because I always knew I wanted to be in public relations and media. And the very first press release I written in my life was for my mom's 50th birthday. And I was you know, because my mom went on after she was a teen mom. She was a minister. She became a community crusader in Miss Wheelchair, Alabama. Like we experienced many tragedies before the fire. Like
I can only imagine. I'm sure most people out there can only imagine. Most people haven't lost their parents, so.
But even before I lost her, it was like my mom I watched my mom go from being an able-bodied human, getting up, walking around, to not being able to do that. And I watched her conquer that. She was a quadriplegic. We were in the same car accident. My mom got paralyzed she broke her neck and her back in 2 places. And I watched her. I've experienced that with her. Going on that journey, being able to get up and go drive your car, to having to wait on someone to get you out the bed, and it's like she for me knocked it out the park. You know, she went from being the same person that she was to just doing it in a new fashion, and it was that moment when HIV came into my life.
You segued right before we get to that. How did you find out about that young Maliek liked XY and not XX? When did that come to play? When did you find out that you wanted to play with the boys?
I feel like I've always been.
But there had to be a time when you came to realize, because as a young child, you don't know, but there comes a time when you go.
For me, I think it became a time when I accepted it. I always knew it was something different, and I've always heard of like gay and what the traditional Black Southern family like say about it.
So there wasn't a specific time and situation. You just came out. Pixie dust and sprinkles.
When I was, I was a bad kid, but I got class 3 from high school my freshman year.
What is class 3?
It's like something worse than a suspension.
Oh, okay.
It's like you have to have a whole hearing.
Why? Because you was fighting and stuff?
No, it was
likes to fight.
Like people been putting out.
What did you do?
People been putting out rumors of
what you do.
Well, what I did allegedly was steal a school camera, which I didn't do.
I mean, don't you work with cameras now? That makes sense.
No, but I've always been passionate about cameras.
So
how did
How did the camera come up missing?
Well, see, listen.
I'm listening. We all listening. You telling us how the camera come up missing.
Listen, I wasn't responsible for the camera coming up missing, but I may have been responsible for misusing the school ID camera.
Who took the camera?
One of the other students.
Who?
It was this girl named Tiandra Polliman.
Tiandra, if you watching this, she
took the camera out. From what I hear, she was in jail or in prison, but either here or there, she took the camera.
Listen, now you putting the girl in. Oh dear God.
She took the camera. She got up in front of the student body and said that I stole it, and because I was the quote unquote gay boy or soft.
So now all of a sudden
the whole student. Yes, that's kind of how it works.
Well, some of y'all do like to stunt and steal people's credit cards. We'll get to that later.
It's not even
that later.
Honestly, it's like where I'm from. Like what gay is. Like
a criminal, like that makes you a criminal.
It knocks your cool point. So it's like if you're gay, then it don't make you a criminal, but to the entire student body, it makes you the weakest link. Okay. So that's what happened. But I was proven. Right. My innocence was proven. And I got back in school, I graduated.
So let's get down to the nitty gritty. So who was the bust down that bust you down that got you to where you got to where you had, found out about? your status?
It was no bust
I'm just
down.
making light of it. It might not have been that bad. I'm just making light
It
of
was no bust down.
It was no bust
Honestly,
down? What happened? No,
I
seriously.
found out about my status. I got a call from the Jefferson County Health Department. And I had
Did you go take a test or something?
No,
Or get blood?
honestly, to be very truthful with you, before I got this call, I never had heard of HIV other than in a negative way. When we talked about HIV, it was, when I heard of talk about HIV, it was, you know, death, it was stay away from that person. They got the, when I started to come around like the community, it was like, oh, stay away from that person. They got the package, you know, it was very negative. So it was a topic that I really shied
Okay, but
away
how
from.
did you find out? What happened?
That's what I'm getting to. So I got a call from the health department, and you know they told me I need to come in and get tested. And obviously, when you get tested and you know you come back positive for anything, they list your sexual partners.
People you've been with.
And
You don't gotta tell it.
the first time when the guy,
you know who the person is.
yeah, I automatically, like in my head, I
You
automatically went to.
Was it a bust down?
No.
It wasn't a bust down. Were y'all in a relationship?
We weren't in a relationship, but I was 19. I was a
When you're
young,
19, you know,
naive.
your stuff never go hard.
I was so young and naive, and I had people around me telling me like stuff, and I was naive.
I mean, at 19, your stuff is hard 23 hours a day, so that makes sense.
But I got the call from the health department.
Wait, but
and the guy
were y'all? Were y'all? You know,
we were seeing each other, I guess. Like when I hadn't really
friends with
been with
benefits.
no one.
Oh.
I don't know if that was. I guess that would be a title. I hadn't really.
How many times did y'all have sex?
We had sex a few times, enough for me to know, like, if I'm getting this phone
So it was more than
call,
one.
I know who.
It was more than one.
Yeah.
It was more than 5. So yes or no question. It was 3. Okay.
Yeah. It was definitely more than 5. Like
Okay, more than
it was
5.
more. It was enough for me to know, like, okay, my mind automatically went there. But what messed me up is I was living in Huntsville, Alabama at the time. And when I got this phone call, I had just came back from Birmingham.
I want to ask you this question, and I'm not really trying to pry, but there's a stigmatism to HIV and things like that. Were you on the giving or the receive? If you mind answering, the reason I ask that is because there's this whole notion, persona that if you're doing the giving, you don't have to really worry about that. If you get it, then you must have been receiving. And so that's not true. That's not true at all. But you ain't got to tell us, you know, the people gonna speculate anyway. But I just, if you didn't mind, you could. But there's that whole,
it's
notion.
So it's this. I get the call from the health department.
We went over that.
They say
we went over that part.
Yes, I need to come down and get.
We went over that part.
And I go get tested, and it's when I got the call, I was very apprehensive because the guy who was calling me, I could tell he was a part of the community.
Why did that happen?
Because I thought it was a prank call. I'm like, who is playing? I'm like, who playing on my phone? So when I'm like, yeah, okay, okay.
All right, so you find out.
So then I hang up the phone and I Google the health department, call the number back, the operator, and I'm like, hey, can I have such and such office? And it was at that moment the operator transferred me to the man that I was like,
okay.
Oh wow, this is serious.
Okay.
Like this is like, and then we started to have the conversation because I was like, yeah, I don't have a car right now. I can't come down there today. Da da da. So when I called back, I was like, Okay.
So you
What
go
do I
through
need
that
to do?
whole, you go through that whole, you go through all of the whole series of emotions that go through with that. At some point, you decided, listen, I'm gonna get into activism. I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna fight for aid. Fast forward, we are in 2022. Are you still an activist? What are you doing now because when people met you, you said, oh, I fight for AIDS, HIV people, I do all of this, that, and the third, but it's 2022. Are you still doing that now?
The thing is, I never set out to be an activist.
It doesn't matter whether you set out to be
right,
that,
but the thing is, like, so when I made the decision to post my status on social media, I didn't know it was going to get the response that it was going to get. There's a lot of people that's in my same predicament, and they're, because of the stigma out there, they suffering in silence. Because of someone like me, I'm like, listen, you don't have to be, that doesn't have to be your life.
Okay.
They go through life. When I was in Birmingham and I was 19 saying I was HIV positive, it was people 50 years old coming out and having that same conversation.
That's what's called living, which is great.
But they'll live 20 plus years.
But when you get to the point of activism, when you're an activist, you are actively doing things, pushing the cause, and all of those things. So when I say, by you just say, oh, I just wake up and I go about life, that's not activism. What are you doing now? Are you still an activist? Are you still advancing the cause of those with HIV and AIDS?
Absolutely. And honestly, I'm actually working on a project where I'm bringing a lot of the activists, the people I've worked with and met through this journey, because it's been almost a decade. And like you said, we're here in Atlanta, where the home of the CDC is. A lot of those ambassadors stayed right here in Atlanta. When I met these ambassadors, we were all from around the country. They brought 25 young men from 25 places from around the U.S.
When is the event taking place?
Really soon. I'm setting up. I'm setting up a reunion for just some of the ambassadors, and we're gonna have it documented, because when we came together 10 years ago, it was documented. So we were trying to
send me the invite. I'll come out. Be reading the people from the back, but I'll come out. You know what I'm saying? No, but that's good. That's good. I'm glad to know that you are still actively doing things. Because people say you don't do nothing, you're still looking. I did ask you for a date. I did ask you for a date. You ain't gave me nail on date yet. Now, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Now, what brought you to Atlanta? Why are you here?
I tell people all the time, if you grow up in Birmingham, black and queer, then chances are your journey is going to lead you to Atlanta. Birmingham is a 2-hour drive away from Atlanta, so it was. I was here before I was here, and that's good and bad. Like, my first trip to Atlanta was horrible. The truck broke down before I got out of Alabama. It broke down when we got to Atlanta, and I ended up walking. Me and 2 of my friends walked off the freeway with our bags.
Oh boy, they walking the highway.
And that never stopped me from continuing to come to the city. And I kept coming until I think I got serious about the city.
Okay.
And the first couple of times was like,
you came here to just,
party,
to
slang
meat all over the place,
experience. But once I got serious about Atlanta, I feel like Atlanta got serious about
They say y'all country folks come to Atlanta for 2 reasons: to come and do 8 counts, and to come take 8, other things. Anyway, I'm just joking.
That's nice.
Anyway, so when you came to Atlanta, you started doing stuff with reality series.
Mm-hmm.
What got you involved with that?
Before I moved to Atlanta,
what got you involved with that?
Actually, Lauren England. She's from Birmingham, and she was doing the first season of Chasing Atlanta. Came back to Birmingham to do a premiere party. I was the photographer at the event, and she had like a private event with like the 11 hip hop people. I went along, and honestly, I had this similar idea to do something like this in Birmingham. Always been infatuated with media, reality TV, and
So you got involved with Chasing Atlanta?
I end up, after the first season, I end up coming on and being a part of the production team.
Did you audition for it?
It was emails and correspondence, like with.
I'm saying, were you trying to be, part of talent?
Well, no, now I'm not gonna lie. I definitely, listen. I definitely wanted to come on and listen. I'm like, I already know somebody on the show. It could be like, da da da. But production actually ended up reaching out to me and was like, we would like to have you be a part of production. Okay. And I did season 2. I came back in season 3, and we ended up parting ways in season 3. Before.
Now, did y'all part ways cordially, or were you fired? Did Dario come and say you're fired?
And Dario didn't say I was fired.
He just said
it was someone. Honestly, I feel
so
like I was fired. I'm glad you brought it up. I would say this. When it comes to Chasing Atlanta, we parted ways. It wasn't. I wouldn't have liked it. I feel like I was fired by association because I had relationships with different people or with a certain person.
Who is the certain person?
Gardini.
What happened with Gardini?
Well, after season 2,
he took the LLC and all of that stuff?
So after season 2, we wrapped the reunion. And when I filmed season 2, I really didn't film with Gardini much. I was literally taking the megabus, coming to Atlanta,
so
hitch
how
a ride,
were you guilty by association?
So after we wrapped season 2, me and Gardini became close. He ended up going to jail. I became like a confidant. Like we became closer after we filmed the second season.
So are you saying that because of the negative relationship between?
All of your 6 generations and the collective number from there.
You can hear all this.
Let me know.
Whatever you think.
Whatever you know.
We'll see if she yells again. Randomly. The whole time. Okay. Yeah.
So, are you saying that?
Okay, so my question is, that 0.50, where are you getting that from? Is that from?
I'm like, even she had
The whole time, bro.
So, what you're saying to me is because Gardini and Dario's relationship wasn't the best, that you got fired because you was friends with Gardini?
No, so I had a conversation with Gardini. I guess you can say like pillow talk. And he told me
pillow talk, that means y'all fucking.
We was not.
Wait, that's the only way you have pillow talk. You don't got to be in the bed on the pillow where you fucking Gardini.
Me and Gardini did not have sex.
Y'all never had sex.
No, I mean
did any part of your body go in any part of his body, or any part of his body go in your body?
Me and Gardini definitely had a close relationship.
Y'all slept together?
We slept in the same bed together before numerous times.
But
we were friends. We became friends.
I mean, Maliek, we've seen the meat. You gotta kind of have a big. So if it gets hard and you sleeping next to somebody, it's probably gonna touch them. I'm just saying.
So if you're asking, have me and Gardini cuddled? Sure.
You cuddled?
Yes.
But nothing with it, nothing. Come on now.
No.
So you expected me to believe that y'all cuddled, you hugged, and he felt all of this meat, or you felt all of whatever he got going on, and nothing went in nowhere.
No, me and Gardini never had sex. But what I'm saying is,
nobody jacked each other off.
Nobody
stuck something.
None of that happened.
That's what you're saying. So how did we get to the point where people are accusing you of stealing stuff?
So, okay, so me and Gardini had a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And in that conversation, he told me that he bought Lauren's, or then Jaylon's LLC
Mm-hmm.
to her hair company.
Mm-hmm.
And he had also bought the LLC of Chasing Reality.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, because me and Gardini, this is early. We still get
This
to
was
know
pillow
each
talk.
other.
This is the pillow talk that he told you.
Early
So while y'all
on.
was cuddling, he was whispering the sweet name.
I don't even think we were maybe cuddling, but it was like this is early on in our relationship. Just us getting to know each other as friends. And I didn't know if he was, just like bullshit or like, keeping it a
So
G.
he comes out on the reunion.
So, but that was what he wanted. He wanted to wait till the reunion and gag. It was supposed to be a gag moment.
But
So when we were filming a scene. We had a filming. We were filming, and after the filming, and Dario and the production team met up. We went to IHOP. And at IHOP, I posed the question. I was like, hey, we're growing. We're going into our third season. Is all the I's dotted and T's crossed? Because honestly, I felt like that was a conversation that was above my pay grade. And this
so
was
were you trying to warn and Dario?
I was just trying to
warn him.
Tell them, I'm asking a valid question.
Because you knew you had inside information, so clearly you were trying to warn him. If you,
but I didn't know that. See,
you were trying to figure out whether or not Gardini was lying.
And it's that whether he was lying or not, I'm a part of this production team.
And you want to know if the check's gonna clear.
And
but
that's safe to say. So I didn't go, and I felt like I didn't do it in a messy way. I didn't go and say, hey, Gardini said such and such. And I didn't do that. I just posed the question. We were all sitting there having production talk as a production team. And I'm like, hey, the numbers are growing. We're going into our third season. The season 2 reunion was widely successful with T.S. Madison. I directed it. And I just was asking a question. And at that moment, Dario pulled up something on his phone. It had Georgia. I wasn't even trying to look at it. It had a Georgia State seal. And he was I think he was trying to assure me that was, T's dotted, I's crossed. I guess after that conversation, he later went on to find out
okay.
that that wasn't the case.
We got you.
And after that conversation, I ended up getting a text message saying that
I'm just
that
asking
service was no longer needed.
So you were fired because he felt like you knew. Because if I'm and Dario
and they probably and I understand, I respect that.
He probably felt, wait a minute, why would you ask me that? And then all of a sudden this happened at the
and he dropped me off at
that
Gardini house after the conversation.
So y'all can cuddle again? I'm just asking a question. So did you wait, so
I understand. I don't have no I don't have no ill will with Dario, Kiva, and Burns. I absolutely respect those gentlemen and I appreciate the opportunity. And if I was in their shoes,
do you think you should have warned them? Do you think you should have?
I probably should have been more direct. I probably should have been more direct, but because I was trying to build a relationship. Present day, right now, I'm friendly with Gardini. I don't know.
Y'all
if
I'm
not friends with Gardini.
Okay.
But I would feel be friendly with him.
Do you think that he handled that properly? Do you think he should have handled that differently?
As far as the production team?
No, as far as the whole big scandal of what he did.
When it came to the Chasing Atlanta LLC, he did have Dario and Kevon on as they were still on the company. And what he said, he bought it because anybody could have bought it. It was up for grabs. And he still added them on as officers on that company, and that's how I guess Andario was able to counsel counsel the company and create a new one.
Do you feel like that if you went back there now, would you have told him? Would you have told Andario?
I would have been more direct. I would have said, hey, this is what such and such said. This is, and I don't know if this is to be true. I should have been more direct.
So let's get back down to Maliek. What did Maliek do to Gardena? What did you steal from the man? The people say you stole from him. That's what I heard.
No. I'm not finna sit up here and say I stole from him. I'm not even finna sit up here and say I know the person who stole from him. We're talking about the same person who has swindled hundreds of dollars
So
from
who is this
victims.
person?
Listen.
You don't want to mention
Gardini has made plenty of enemies in and out of Atlanta. So
how did
anybody
you get to
could
the point where
have-
people are accusing you of stealing from them?
Because I was on a platform and I
What
thought
platform?
I was building relationships.
What platform?
We're real life and philanthropy. I really thought I was building relationships with, I guess Devonte in particular, and he came. I met him through my friend Roshane, who I also met on the show, and I kind of thought I was building a relationship with him. And in a conversation we had, we were talking about being scammed, somebody scamming. I was telling him about experience that I had recently went through, that I was scammed by Gardini.
How did Gardini scam you?
Well, he was supposed to be having me move into a new place.
This wasn't the movie.
This
during
was
season one.
season one.
Season one.
Season one
Here we
move.
go.
I had
Here we
to.
go.
I had to move abruptly,
Season
and
one of Real Life and Philanthropy for those people wondering.
I got my I asked my good friend at the time, Gardini, who
Was cuddling with?
I wasn't
Oh.
we wasn't cuddling at the time. He was just my friend, and I was like, I knew he had, I've been on the phone, been around when he helped people move celebrities and stuff, moving to places. And
You gave him money. How much money did you give him?
I gave him $500,
$500.
and he went ghost.
He went ghost. No money.
No,
Did you
no
cash out it?
contact.
Did you Zelle, Venmo?
So he went
You gave him
ghost. He
cash,
was
you gave him-
posting he in Miami.
Wait a minute. How did you give him? Was it cash?
Oh, it was Apple Pay.
Apple Pay.
Apple Pay.
You sure it went
Apple
through?
Pay. It definitely went through. I have the receipts if I need to show.
Okay.
But I sent him the money. He went ghost. Or when I
So
then
after
when
he
I
went
would
ghost-
talk to him, it was he wasn't. I'm I got 30. I'm literally in a bind. I need to move.
So when you saw him again, what happened?
What happened was, and this is the story that I'm telling Devonte, the gentleman on the cast. At the time, when he went ghost, I see he posted that someone broke into his house. And right after that, when I contacted him after that situation happened, he sent me the $500 back.
So he sent you so he didn't steal nothing from you.
Yeah, after somebody stole his clothes, and that's what I was explaining
So
to the gentleman.
it's being said that you're the one that broke in his house to steal his clothes because you was trying to get your $500 worth.
Right,
Oh. Allegedly.
But
Speaking of Devonte and Real Life and Philanthropy, let's just go straight to Final Jeopardy. The man said you broke. The man said you went to all the way across time zones, across several states to the great state of Texas, where Governor Greg Abbott, Governor Hot Wheels, is the governor of that state with $0. Do you have money in the bank account now, Maliek? You don't have to show me. You want to show me? I want to see the receipts
That's
now.
laughable. I mean, it's laughable.
Wait a minute, I want to see the receipts. Will you show me what's in the bank account? Now, I'll show you what's in mine. I ain't got that.
I'm gonna be very honest and transparent.
Okay.
I was definitely experiencing a financial bind.
You could have called that. Some of us are
Filming season 2 of Real Life and Philanthropy. I found myself in a financial bind. My roommate at the time moved out abruptly, and all of that fell on me. Ty knew, Roshane, people in the group, production, they knew about this. And if it wasn't for Real Life and Philanthropy, for me being a part of the production team, I probably wouldn't have been able to be on the show.
Okay.
Because, I mean, it was some of those checks that helped me
y'all get
show
paid?
up.
Come on now.
Well,
They paying the people, y'all. They paying
I can only speak for Maliek Yuseef. And
You better get production in trouble because some people gonna be looking like, wait a minute, where's my goddamn check?
well, I think everybody on the production. Well, I can only speak for myself. But
Hey,
if
I
it
ain't
wasn't
giving
for,
it
like I said, if it wasn't for me being a part of the production team of Real Life and Philanthropy,
But that goes
season
to-
2, I probably wouldn't have been able to be on the
But
show.
that goes to what the people are. I can only be the voice of what the people are proliferating and spreading. Because that goes to people say, well, what does Maliek do? Is he just a broke hoe with no job, or is so? According to the people, now this goes right into the narrative that the people are trying to proliferate and spread across the fruited plains from sea to shining sea. That Maliek Yuseef ain't got no job nowhere in America. Do you have a job anywhere in these yet to be United States of America?
I work. I work the whole time I've been in Atlanta. I didn't move to.
But you just told us that you were in financial binds.
Of course, when you go from paying half rent to having to pay full rent and bills, yeah, it's gonna put you in a financial bind. Did I go broke? No, I didn't. Like, I'm not out here like in the soup line. But if I needed to be, I would.
So, contrary to popular belief, you're not broke.
I'm not broke.
Let me. I told you. Show me. Can you pull out your phone? Can you show me?
Listen,
What's in the bank account?
I'm not broke.
I just want to verify for the people.
And the thing is, the people that are around that saying this, they know I work. I work. I don't mind working. And I work with my hands every day. Like, I go to work. No.
Listen, let the
I don't
record
mind
show.
doing manual labor.
But I asked this young
have a
man to
job.
show me the receipts. I ain't see no ballots in
You
the
want
bank
to
account.
see what you want to see? A chick stuff?
No, I want to see what's in this bank account. You can go mobile banking.
It's money.
Okay, I'm just asking. I want to see like Devonte said he saw zero back. He said he saw 000. So to the Texas trip.
Lord.
Now let me ask you a question. You went through most of season 1 without fighting. You got Gerald and all of his histrionics, and you got Jerome and his level brand of fuckery all season long, and you ain't laid not a goddamn finger on them. But you and Apollo seem to be getting it down at the reunion over there, and you fought Apollo. Then,
Apollo.
or y'all tried to fight. You was taking off shirts, running after cars, and
What?
he was falling
Well,
on the
that was
ground.
for Jerome. That was for Jerome.
Oh, that was for Jerome. I'm sorry. That was I get confused. People taking bumps on set and people falling out on the ground and all kinds of stuff that was going on at that first
Yeah,
reunion.
I wanted to fight. I wanted to fight those people. And
Apollo, he did fight. He tried to fight production. Did he push or punch production too? Y'all had a lot going on, dear God. So, but then we get to this season, and you got somebody who is your friend, who you are personally responsible for bringing on the show. And you go and magically, you have all of this horrible stuff that happened season 1, and you ain't fight nobody. But now season 2, you fight the one person who is a close friend of yours and who admittedly said, that's the only reason I'm on the show. Why did you fight? Too drunk?
Well, it definitely wouldn't happen if alcohol wasn't involved. And I can't sit here and say like, you know, I can't say, oh, I'm blaming it on the alcohol, because I take full responsibility in that situation, and if I could take it back, I would. Like, I feel horrible because I feel like I let down someone. I let down a friend who maybe looked to me in a different respect. And
let me ask you this. Do you think that it would be different if it was never on the show?
Absolutely. I mean, we were, the night it happened, it was an off night.
And
We wasn't filming a scene.
We talk about friends now. You said that you and Roshane are friends, and Roshane is the one who took a good deal of the footage. So all of this is involving people who are close to you. How does that make you feel? You fought your friend,
I
your
feel
other
like,
friend made sure to film it and made sure the whole world saw it. What do you have to say about this? How does that make you feel?
I felt like...
Are you mad at Roshane?
I'm not mad at Roshane. I'm mad at myself. Because here I am. I kind of set this unspoken rule that when, you know, production is down, especially if we're on a cast trip, we went to New Orleans the first year. So production, we're not working with a Bravo type budget. So if production can only be so many places at once. So it was an unspoken rule, if they can't be there, everybody knew to pull out their phone.
I mean, we know all that.
Turn it landscape.
You just told us from the beginning, and members of the cast have said this. When y'all went to this good club, it was supposed to be no filming. Why would your friend decide if there's no filming that night?
Well, what made everybody take out their phone?
Are you justifying your friend's action because it is your friend? Because what if it was somebody who wasn't your friend?
Well, it wasn't just him filming. It was multiple people like filming. What happened was, what made people take out their phones wasn't the fight. What happened was, when we came outside the club, the vehicle was gone. So that sent everybody.
But why would you film the vehicle being gone?
Because we're filming where's the car? Like, we're filming conversation. That's what made people take out their phone initially. And the phone just stayed out. The camera stayed out.
Maybe something's wrong with me. But last time I checked, if I go outside and my car ain't where I parked it, my first inclination isn't, oh, let me film that my car. I am losing it. I'm calling police.
People are calling people. It's people who are calling.
But now I'm not filming though.
People who are calling. Kwanzaa got on the phone immediately and was like, "Hey, what's going on? Where's the car?"
Let me ask you another question. Could they have been filming something else? Because from what I hear, wasn't somebody busting down a trans woman in the alley at the outside the club? Is that what was being filmed? Because I hear people was busting down or getting bust down by one of our trans sisters.
This is what I'm gonna say about Houston. Houston was so much fun until it wasn't. We really, honestly, I felt like we really bonded as a group on that trip, and it was so much that wasn't shown.
Like you having sex in the house? Did you have sex in the house?
I didn't have sex in Houston.
That's what they said. They said they went outside your door and they heard.
No, it's just, and it's like crazy stuff like that. People would be
Who had the threesome?
I wish I would know. I don't think no one had a threesome. I think it was a conversation about.
I heard one of the members of production had a threesome.
I think it was a conversation about a threesome, but I don't
so
think
nobody in production had a threesome at this Airbnb?
No, and I was a part of the talent that trip, not production.
I know that. I didn't say you. Another member, the light skinned one who was at the club with y'all.
You would have to ask.
Or you too busy getting
You
to
have
your
to
own
ask
stuff?
for
Were you too busy cuddling to know whether or not people were doing threesome or having threesomes, I should say, and doing other things?
Honestly, after the fight, I did retreat to my room, and I didn't
Who was in the room with you?
A friend that I had met over the trip, and we
Was it the other
we
guy?
talked
Was it the guy
about,
who came with Ashton?
Yeah,
Oh, what was his name? Jet, like the famous Jet Jackson.
yeah.
So, did he lay in the bed with you? Was this another situation where somebody was laid in bed and y'all magically didn't do anything?
No,
Did
it
y'all
wasn't that
cuddle?
situation. Like it was like a chase in the room. We talked about like the situation, the fight. I felt.
Did he sleep in the room
I
with you?
immediately felt bad. Yeah, I mean, it was only but so many places to.
And y'all
to
slept in the
sleep.
bed together?
No, he slept. I actually fell asleep on the chase,
Mm.
and I woke up and
And then
I
you
laid
went
in
down
bed.
after you woke up? I'm just asking. Okay.
No.
I just want to know. Okay, so here's what we're going to play a little game. We'll do the typical. I'll mention a name. Tell me the first word that comes to your mind.
Okay.
All right. Ty. You take it too long, sir? You take it too long. Don't try to come up with nothing.
Oh my God, you said
No.
the first thing that comes to my mind.
I said the first
I
thing.
don't know. The
Oh,
rich
yeah.
auntie.
You're lying. You're not good at lying. You are not good at lying.
I don't know.
Be better.
Okay.
Do better.
Honestly,
Devonte.
relentless.
Devonte.
The first word
Devonte.
that I.
Hey. We moved up.
We moved
Devonte.
on, okay.
Take it too long. Think long. Think wrong.
I just feel
You
like
took it too
bro
long.
code.
Oh dear God.
The bro code.
I said one word, and here we are. Quanta.
Kwanzaa is Mother Goose, Mother Hen. She's a sweetheart.
Bryson.
Bryson is like the wild card. He's like the Joker.
Darion.
Darian is just. I feel like people.
You take it too long. One word.
No,
sir.
I want
one
to.
word.
I feel like people who watch the show really didn't.
One word.
Darian is just like everything. Like just he's.
Everything.
He has been.
Roshane.
He has been a true friend. to me.
Roshane. You take it too long, so you gonna take it way too long.
Because it is supposed to be like good.
It is the first word that comes, sir. Let's get it out.
Bumble clock. This is what I mean.
Oh dear God.
That's the first thing.
Jamie.
Big Allen, Big Mama. You
trying to call him fat?
No, this
Oh.
way, like, you know, they call Jamie, like, you know, she's like
Okay.
the...
Production.
she's like she's
Great.
like the-
Production. I think of meat when I think production. Every time I see Greg, he flaunting meat everywhere. You gotta see Greg. He always got on some tight pants, meat hanging all out. They play everywhere. Shout out to Greg.
Honestly,
And the meat.
I'm really grateful.
You
that-
take it too long. I said one word.
I can't have one word
Oh,
for these
dear
people.
God.
Like I'm really happy that Greg decided to take his vision and just run with it, and I'm thankful for him for that.
How did you get into the OnlyFans? Because the OnlyFans came during the time of the show.
Mm.
How did you get it? And don't you come and tell me, oh, I want to do an interview. Because contrary to popular belief, I've seen snippets of this OnlyFans, and there very much is things going into
I mean,
things.
if you gonna like, it's like
So,
this.
are
If
you
you gonna
a
go
porn
to the
star?
highways and byways, you gotta like meet the people where they at. So of course, like people who have paid to subscribe, they may see other things other than the After Dark show. But
So I can
the OnlyFans thing, let me tell you about this. I'm media, all parts of it. So when I heard
Because
about
the OnlyFans people make money. I'm
Well,
thinking that that's
and
going to
this
be
when-
another.
and I heard about OnlyFans years ago, when it was a social media platform and you can make money, and it wasn't just raunchiness and sex. Like you can literally people put up cooking videos, and you can put up any type of
You
content.
sure can.
So
But
I was up on game years ago. So then I moved to Atlanta. I get on a reality show platform. And I'm like, you know what?
And
Let me
now,
go
let me
and
say
launch
this.
this
Let me
OnlyFans
say
thing.
this.
And before I even got content, all I did was post a picture.
You're
I
right.
post a picture, and they started talking about it. Everybody around me started talking
well,
about
let's
it.
be clear. It really started after what was that episode 2 of season 1 when you came to that park flaunting meat all over the place, and Apollo and a couple other people lost their goddamn minds about a slab of beef. And then we started to hear all about the OnlyFans. Then it was a couple episodes after that. We had people paying for your said OnlyFans. Jerome and Gerald, and they was going through it, and
I mean,
looking real hard. I mean, they were looking.
You gotta,
hard, like,
you gotta know that I wasn't new to this. I'm like,
you true to this.
I
you
came
true to the porn.
I
game.
came from no. I came from production. I'm a producer first. So me being a talent on the show, I understand the assignment, so to speak.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, yeah, I'm on this platform.
I got big
Outside
stuff.
of me being new to Atlanta, like I need to have a product. What can I sell? And I knew I wanted to do something with my OnlyFans platform.
What can
and
you
this
sell?
this was the opportunity to do that. So doing interviews with other content creators and making it like a little risque, I felt like, I accomplished telling my truth and telling who I am, because people always gonna, whenever I show up, I'm always gonna show up as Maliek Yuseef, HIV, like they're gonna, I'm gonna always show up as myself. So it's like you're not gonna be able
Do
to take it from me.
do you plan to come back for season 3?
I never say never, but I'm comfortable behind the camera. Like that's
So
where
will you
I
stay on
come
production?
alive. If I'm asked to stay on production,
Mm.
right now I'm working with Gemini Films. I've been doing. We just wrapped with the season 3 reunion. We're going into a few like spin-off shows. So that's where I come alive at, behind the camera. So I'm excited to do.
So you're going to
that.
continue with Gemini Films?
Gemini Films. I'm working on my own projects.
What is that? What projects are you doing? What is your project?
I actually had filmed the project.
What is your project?
I filmed the project, but prior to moving to Atlanta, which was made in Birmingham.
Mhm.
It's a docuseries that follows creatives in Birmingham. I feel like Birmingham kind of gets the short end of the stick. I feel like when it comes to Birmingham, Alabama, we're
They
like,
got a whole show. No, that's Jackson, Mississippi. I'm thinking about Bell Collective. That's Jackson, Mississippi.
when it comes to Birmingham, Alabama, I feel like, we're the black mistress of America. We're America's black mistress. We're portrayed horribly in the media.
I don't think people
For a city that arguably moved this country forward, we don't
They did what?
move this country forward. Yes, Birmingham. It was you gotta go back and like really do your research. People wasn't like protested. Those were like the Birmingham people. Like people.
They were not the only people protesting. Let's be
They
clear.
was not the only people protesting, but where you came and got it popping at. Where the still like we were protesting long before Martin Luther King came to Birmingham. Influencers at that time, they came to
then
Birmingham
Martin Luther King
because
left Birmingham
Birmingham
and went
was
to
doing
Montgomery.
the work.
But then Martin Luther King left Birmingham.
Alabama was
Montgomery
doing
to
the
do
work.
They were not the
Alabama
only
was doing the
ones.
work. Alabama was doing the work.
They
So
weren't the
that's
only
why
ones. That's
they
unfair.
wasn't the only ones, but that's why influencers then came to our city and our state because we were already doing the work. The Children Crusade had hundreds of children, kids leaving school because that's something they believe
But
in
what I'm
as
saying
kids. You didn't see that nowhere else around
untrue.
America.
That's untrue.
That's
untrue.
Show me.
What do we have to look forward to? What do you want to leave us with? When the cameras go off, when the light bulbs go black, what should we be left with, and what should we have to look forward to? That should roll off the tongue. I mean,
I just always want to be a person where I'm a people person, so I always want to like help, inspire. Like I want people to know that they can really get to the next level, whatever that next level is for them. Like it all starts. Once you start, like nobody can tell you to stop. And I learned that through my journey of growing up with a teen mom, through my journey of having paralyzed parents, because my mom and my dad was paralyzed. I learned that through my journey of HIV, like you have to keep going. Like it doesn't stop. Just because something awful happens, it doesn't stop. Like I lost my mom in a house fire, and it was at that point where I realized like life don't stop. You gotta keep going. Like so if I can leave people with anything, it's like that. Like just be inspired to like keep going. And I feel like people see me on social media now and coming to know me like on like the reality platform, and they only get a small dose of who I am.
So you're gonna give them a full dose. More
cuddly. For lack of better words.
Cuddly. So is this your and this is probably we'll go out with it. Is this your swan song? You talked about wanting to be behind the camera more and not in front. So is this your swan song? Are you going out?
No,
Is this it for being in front of the camera? Are you now just behind the scenes now? Catch you with a camera and a boom mic.
No, well you can always catch me with a camera and a boom mic, but I definitely enjoy being talented. I like being talented. I always wanted to be on TV, like from watching like Making the Band.
But do you like all of the negative that comes with it?
Yeah, but I mean, I dealt with that before. I've always dealt with it. Like you got to know, like coming from a city like Birmingham and saying like
Birmingham.
Yes, I'm a Birminghamian. Birmingham proud 205. Who gonna shake me? Yeah, that's all it. But yeah, coming from a city like Birmingham, you gotta know like, bitch, I had to have very tough skin. So
I think just as being a black man in America, you grow with tough skin.
Yeah, but you gotta look at all the black men in America who don't have tough skin though. Like,
and
there's a lot of people
Birmingham who don't have it too.
Absolutely, but coming on and twirling on in front of these cameras, that was simple to me. I was people all over the world was looking at reading my story. I had white racist people saying, you know, that was my fault that this happened to me in comments. So I was used to that and like getting up, reading articles and saying stuff like that about myself.
Final words for the people.
What can I leave the people with? I leave them with this, honestly. No, they saw me y'all saw me in the studio in season 2 for a brief.
The one that they said you couldn't pay for the rights to the beats and stuff. I'm just telling you what the people said.
That is so ridiculous. Honestly.
Did you buy the beat? Did you buy the beat?
No, we haven't moved forward with the project.
So how is that ridiculous?
We haven't moved forward with the project, and that was a scene that was set up for a show.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it was a scene that was set up for a show. But my intentions in getting in the studio was real. So, like I said, like I challenge everybody. Like you gotta look in the mirror sometimes and tell yourself, like, bitch, get on your mother shit. Like you gotta tighten up on yourself first. And I encourage everybody to take a self-reflection, look at self, and then go out into the world. Because that's what I do. Like that's how I prepare myself for the world. I'm the type of person, let me tell myself down, oh, they gonna read me about this, oh, they might read me about it, they might say that. I already gave myself that pep talk, so when other people say it, it's like, yeah, okay. So yeah, get on your motherfucking shit.
That, ladies and gentlemen, that was the conversation, and what a conversation it was. Listen, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, it's time to get out of here. We need these cameras to go off. I'm real hot, y'all. But you know what? I had a good time. I can't wait to do this again. We gotta do this again sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come on your show. But no, we gotta do this again. I had a great time, y'all. As I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to us and the channel. They are much obliged and much appreciated. Y'all know I love y'all. That's all I got for y'all. But until next time, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Until next time, that's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out. I had to take the shot. I could not leave without taking the opportunity.